TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 16th of January. Well, the bullish move continues. We're still stuck right around that 4,008 algo level that we had set from some time ago. And it just keeps pushing up against it. It's not able to break through, and we're not seeing a whole lot of short activity. We got the MBI white fading. Magenta is clearly power move, shakeout, fantastic, and DOC still pretty strong. So why we're not getting more of a lift? Well, there are plenty of headwinds, obviously with the inflation, the uncertainty, but from an overall standpoint, economy's done pretty amazing to have survived um, all the difficulties with interest rates and the uncertainty. So from that standpoint, we'll see if it continues. Obviously, everyone's going to be looking at the market is betting that there's going to be uh, some difficulties and that the Fed is going to have to ease, and that in their mind is bullish. So this is the play for the second half of the year. You can see the Nasdaq's even stronger than the S&P from a reading standpoint, shooting above 50% Morgan lines right there, and not really much of, like I said, the short activity. It's even just dwindled. You still have DOC with cyan over green, but with that rising red, and you can see the white in here too. That's just a confirmation on the red. Uh, from a trend standpoint, very strong, and it's been enough to sustain things. Does that mean that market has to go up? Doesn't mean that you're not going to see back and forth. It's just a general uh, view that the trend is to the upside. From a TLT standpoint, just crazy time. This counterance to the actual world of interest rates versus what the perception will be. Um, it was strange because this was the same thing that we saw before the major collapse in bonds that finally resonated with everyone when we said, look, it's mispriced and it will come back at some point. It's just a matter of waiting it out. And in this particular case, you've got the magenta fading, but MBI white also collapsing with it. So those things that we're seeing from the market indicate bullish, and that's interesting. You got bonds bullish, stocks bullish, oil sort of bullish. We're still floating right around that 80 range, and this is the persistency. Everyone loves to tout how inflation's tamed or calming down. No, with prices elevated like that, everything is going to stay at a higher level and continue to grow. Fine, the rate of increase has moderated, but that can change very quickly with the move on oil, and it's all reflected right here. Gold, they kept it under wraps for quite some time, given what we were seeing, and its coming explosion was no question. We talked about it even back here. This was the same thing that we were talking about when it related to Bitcoin and that the euro as well. Um, Suffering dramatically, and there was no recovery for the euro until the Fed stepped in with the liquidity and backstopped it for oil purchases and stuff. Um, but this is the new global economy, so that's okay. Now back to 108.5 for eurozone. That's pretty much dead. And here you go, Bitcoin. This was, to me, seemed like a no-brainer, but some people just kind of laughed at me when I was talking about it, that it was poised for the move. Um, Once you weeded out all the negativity and you've reduced the number of soft hand players, anyone who wants more Bitcoin, who's going to give it to you? Uh, and that's just a recipe for supply and demand limitation. And here you go. Yeah, you can go back to the videos when I was making the case for it. ETH following along suit, and these are outperforming the market, which is interesting because they had traded in tandem with the markets in general. So this explosion could be a precursor to the market breakout or not. And I don't know why this does this to me with the 50K, 5K chart. from the weekends. Very annoying, and then I get that. So at least we got our charts out through there. As always, trade well. We'll talk again later.